Welcome back to another edition of the 100K AFL season previews, where today we sit down and we go through the Bombers and the Fremantle Dockers. So two teams, I think we would agree, are probably on different ends of the ladder. It's an interesting one. I wasn't able to obviously look at anything to do with Fremantle, so Jev lays it out. Look, they've got a really good list. And the Bombers, very excited to see what they can do in 2026, if they can turn it around. There's been a lot of movement on the list, so very excited, guys. You know where to find us for everything else, at 100K Sports, Apple, Spotify, YouTube. Enjoy the show. Make sure lots of comments and share it around to everyone. We would love some feedback. Enjoy. Welcome back to another AFL season preview, where today we sit down and we go through the Fremantle Dockers. These have been very well received, especially the last couple of pods. We've had a couple of good teams. Today, you could argue one good team, one not so good team, but we'll let the fans go through that. Jev, let's get into Freo. Let's stick with the theme. You go first. Let's start off how they go last year, and let's have a look at their list.
So Freo in 2025, Das, finished fifth. They went 16-7 and lost their first final to the Gold Coast at home in an absolute heartbreaker.
Yeah.
They actually finished on equal points as Collingwood in fourth, but had worse percentage. So they're a bit stiff. They basically finished equal fourth. I quickly went through their season. They had that amazing win against the Dogs at Marvel in the last round of the year to get into the finals.
Guts up,
They beat the Crows. They beat Gold Coast at Gold Coast. They beat GWS at GWS. They beat Collingwood at the G.
Yeah.
But saying that, they also lost to the Swans twice. We missed the 8. They lost to the Ds. They lost to an injured Collingwood side at home. I don't remember that Thursday night game where the half Collingwood side went over there and got it done. And they lost the Saints at Marvel, which would be a fine loss this year, but it wasn't that good of a loss last year. Everyone thought that was certainty. So everyone just knows about Freo. There's just that bit of inconsistency. When they're good, they're great. But when they're bad, you're just like shaking your head. So their list us. How can I say nicely that their list is absolutely stacked and overrated at the same time? I don't know how to say it. Where do we draw the line of who a comp A grader are into position A graders into just really good players with the Freo list? Because they're really sort of mixed. They feel like they've got 10 to 12 good players. Some are a little better than others and some. So I'm going to give them 2 comp A graders. That's Caleb Serong and Andrew Brayshaw. I think most people will agree with this. I think they're both close to the 18th to 25th best players in the league rather than the top 5 best players in the league. I think they're good. Like Caleb Serong averaged 27.5 disposals last year, 8 clearances, 14 contested possessions. They're incredible numbers.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's an absolute dominant game changer like some other guys. He's such a stoppage expert. He's so smooth and close to the ground. But when it comes to getting a bit outside, I think he could be better. And then Andrew Brayshaw, he also averaged 27 disposals a game, 5 clearance. But they both only kicked 7 goals each for the season. And I think for them to be absolute top-end elite numbers, that needs to be at least 15 goals each coming into this year, maybe even 20 goals a year. For example, Isaac Heaney has kicked 32 and 34 goals his last 2 years as a midfielder. Bont's kicked 21 and 32 his last 2 years. And Nick Dacos has kicked 17 and 20 his last 2 years. So they're the cream of the crop. To be with the cream of the crop, I think you've got to be more around that 15 goal mark. So that's my early, I call them competition diamonds. Like, there's the comp A graders, but then the absolute high-end diamonds, you got to be kicking close to 20 goals a season as a midfielder, I reckon. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, no, I love that point. That's exactly what we spoke about in the Port Adelaide one. That was where Zach Butters had let himself down, only like the 1 goal in the year.
Yeah.
And I was going to ask you, I knew you'd know, I was going to ask how many Heaney and Chad, I know previous year, I think it was, 35-25 for Chad, for Chad and when you read that out, you're like, holy shit, 35 goals is a lot. But again, if you're going to help your side, like, let's try and get some stuff on the scoreboard. So whether that's down to coaching, where I know Heaney's got the ability where they flip the magnet and he can go play down there. But even Caleb Serong, he had that sample size, whether people say he was injured or not, but he played forward for a few weeks and kicked 3, kicked a bag of 2. So, like, it can be done, but 100%. Yeah. These guys need to get the scoreboard.
And Brayshaw always kicks big goals as well. He just needs to add a couple.
Yeah.
This is where it's hard. Yep. Where do we draw the line of these guys being position A graders or just good players? We'll both answer. Their captain, Alex Pearce. What do you reckon?
Again, me and you last year didn't rate him, but he had a really good year last year. He locked down some good forwards.
Yeah.
Position A grader, captain. I think after last year, he almost starts in every side. So, like, no, he's not. Yes, he is.
I'll go position A grader. I think he's a gun. He's impossible to get a kick on. He had a great finish of the year. I'd hate to play on him. I speak about him a bit more later. Hayden Young.
When he's playing, yeah, but he's, again, it's like the Sam Walsh or who's someone else that we spoke about. It's like when like the Will Day. It's like he's
Callum
great.
Mills,
he's great when he's playing. And we know that he's one of the best plus minus players on the ground. But I think he is player wise, but he just hasn't played this year.
Just a good player for me, I wrote as well. We didn't see it last year. He only played the 9 games last year.
Yeah.
Really only 7 because he was injured early on in 2 of them. He's on a super long, super big contract. Remember he signed to like 2031 or something? Yeah, he really needs to earn that this year. He can't have another season like last year. He owes the club one this year. So for him to go back to position A grade, it needs to be a 20-game season. Luke Jackson.
Yeah. He's a fucking
position A grade. If you can tell me what the position is, but he's in for an absolutely huge year. Yep. He might be a midfielder. I'd love to see them play some small ball where he's a ruckman midfielder and just runs the other ruckman rampant around the field. There's rumours with 5 on the bench that Freo are going to play Jackson, Luke Darcy, not Luke Darcy, say, Sean Darcy, Luke Jackson, Sean Darcy, and Mason Cox. That tells me he's going to be more of a mid-forward. I can't wait to watch him this year. I'd love to see him in a centre bounce with Mason Cox in the rucks or Sean Darcy in the ruck. And then, as I said, play a bit of small ball. He's in for a massive year. I'm pretty sure he was 20 when he won that flag with the D's. Pretty sure he's only like 24, 25 this year, maybe 26. So he's about to start like hitting his prime. He could be huge.
Yeah, he is. I'm just looking now. He's 24. Yeah.
They've got a good player at 24. Like
we did mention the back end of last year on one of the summer roasts where there was very early second week of training. Luke Jackson has not been in one ruck contest, and we said we're like, will he play midfield like just pure like ruck rover? And if he's quick enough to get there to the stoppage where Mason Cox can't, he takes the ruck. I think it's an awesome piece for him.
Yeah, it's exciting. And then Shai Bolton.
I knew that was it. We couldn't stop talking about him last year. He didn't really have the eye-popping, goal-kicking year that we'd hoped, did he? Really took a step back, but if he's in the side...
I just wrote good player. Super underwhelming last year. He averaged 18 touches a game, and he just kicked the 28 goals. He was a goal-a-game player. I just think he's a bit better than that. Yeah. I don't think he was necessarily a great forward last year or a great midfielder last year. He was just okay at both. Sort of got stuck in the middle of both. I wonder if they know they have a fit Hayden Young that Shai will just be a forward, or the other way around, he'll just be a midfielder sort of this year. I don't know if I'm being harsh or Freo supporters agree with me. I just expected more last year. We expected more. We thought he'd take Optus Stadium by the absolute scruff of the neck, and it was just a little bit underwhelming. Maybe he just didn't understand his position as much. I'm not sure, but yeah, he needs to go up. Josh Tracy.
This is so tough, this whole team. Position A grader. I'd have to look at all how many forwards... Key forwards, I reckon he's just under the line. Just under.
Just a good player for mine. Yeah. He kicked 44 goals, not even 2 a game. Finished the year great, kicking 12 goals in his last 5 games, but also had multiple games with 0 goals. Yeah. He had 6 games in total with 0 goals, including a 3-game stretch in the middle of the year where he didn't kick a goal. That doesn't happen to the absolute best forwards. No. That needs to be 50-plus goals this year, I think. Just think of some of the guys last year, like Gunston kicked 70s, Ben King kicked in the 70s, Jeremy Cameron kicked 88. Like, he's nowhere near those guys yet. So, yeah, he's just a good player. He has potential to be position A grade. And the last one is Jordan Clark. Made All-Australian last year. Think he has to be a position A grader. Wouldn't have him in my top 5 halfbacks, probably. That's probably more my taste. But he can obviously play. Average 24 touches a game. I reckon he can do it again this year. He's a pretty good player. Like, they love him at Freo. Would you probably agree?
Yeah. Again, usually the rule is if they're all Australian, they go straight into competition A grader because they have to be. He's a nice footballer. He's a great pickup for him. He's not super flashy, but he's a hard worker. He goes out there, he runs, he tries to tackle, tries to break the line. Like, he's a trier. He's someone that just won't sit there and chip it round. He had some fantastic games. I really like it. Yeah, the one with Tracy, when you look at that, you're like, you need to be 55 plus if you're in that category. But a lot of good players, Jev.
Yeah, good players. And then there's just guys I like. There's guys I like. I love Pat Voss. We love Pat Voss. Everyone would want a Pat Voss on their team. Jai Miss can obviously play. I'm not his number one fan, but he can play. Sean Darcy is a good ruckman. Good play on most sides. Luke Ryan, Brennan Cox, Heath Chapman, Josh Draper. Like, you can't have enough key defenders. They've got the guys. Whether you or me, how much you or me rate Brennan Cox sometimes, or Luke Ryan does our head in, they're still big body key defenders. Like, they've got the guys. Mickey Frederick, Switowski, Switter, Banfield, Jeremy Sharp. Every team needs these hard-running role players. That's those guys, Freo. We love Isaiah Dudley. I love the addition of Judd McVee. Like, that's a great get from Melbourne.
Great get.
And now I get to a young gun, and that's Murphy Reid. This kid can be absolutely anything. I think he'd be a top 5 to 7 pick if they redid that draft where he went to 16. If they had their time again, he'd be top 5 to 7. He kicked 4 on debut. He kicked 4 against Port Adelaide in another game last year. He kicked a goal a game his last 6 games after he went through a bit of a rookie slump in the middle of the year. It's a long season, but he did kick a goal a game his last 6 games. Averaged 15 touches and kicked 25 goals, a goal a game. If that can go to 19 touches and 1.5 goals a game, 36, 37 goals for the year, they'll have an absolute superstar in their hands. And that doesn't even seem out of the realms of what he can do. So if he can, go from 15 touches and 25 goals to 18, 19 touches and 36 goals, it's going to be great. So he is a star.
Yeah, that's starting to talk all-Australian squad of 44. So I'll quickly throw it back at you. This is going to be the argument until it's not. Who's the better Reid in WA?
Oh, God. I'll go Harley still. I think if Harley was playing for Freo, he'd be unbelievable.
Yeah.
I'm trying not to take anything away from Murphy Reid. He's a gun. He's clearly a good player. He did get to play a good role in a good side last year. And it's tough. Playing a high half forward can be a graveyard. He played it great. Don't get me wrong.
You know what, like it looks like? It's like Harley Reid could go like Degoe Dusty, so the peak's way more. Murphy Reid's just Scott Pendlebury. He's going to be best and fairest, all Australians, probably win a flag or two. Coming out, he's under 18s. He, you watch his tape, very smart, little balls under the ground that aren't cute. He'll get them back or they go to a teammate. And some of the positions he found himself in games or little knock-ons or kicking boards, he's such a smart footballer. And as you said, he picked 17. All the Victorian clubs will be looking. They're like, how do we let this guy slip through our fingers? An elite work rate. Yeah, he's a star. I'm
thinking this off the top of my head, but someone came to mind. So it looks like, Freo are stacked with midfielders. So it looks like he's probably going to have another season at that sort of half forward. My team in the midfield a little more. I'm just thinking, can you compare him to Stevie J in a way? He's got all the tricks as a forward, can kick goals. If you need him in the mid, he's got the tricks. Maybe a little bit smaller version. I can't think of anyone else. I've already used Robbie Gray on. Who did I use Robbie Gray on?
Taj Houghton.
Taj Houghton. Yeah, I'm just thinking, can Murphy be a bit of a Stevie J for Freo, where he is a forward and he's got all the tricks and he can get up and get his 25 and he can get back and kick his 3. I wonder if that's what they say. That is his ceiling.
I don't mind the Stevie J because he finds himself in some awkwardly weird positions that get close to I think he had one from the boundary, opposite check side and hit the post and you're like, how did he even get that close? Yeah. Very, Yeah, he doesn't. It's not just like if you look at what's his name? Not Dalma. Who's the one that used to play for Richmond? Number 38, Morris. He just only ran straight lines. Like
Stevie Morris.
Like he had no tricks. Like he had zero tricks.
Yeah, he's got a lot of tricks.
Murphy Reed's got a lot of tricks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
is it? I don't want to say the Ablett Jr. word, but is he built a little bit more like Ablett Jr., but he plays a bit more like Stevie J in a way? He's that sort of shorter stature, but I don't want to put too much pressure on him.
But like he's just got a great future. Like he's got...
I hope so. I hope so.
No, that's all. Do you have a hot take?
I say all that about their list to say this. This list just has to be there on prelim final weekend this year. It's stacked. It's in its prime. It's been together for years now. I just think they have no excuses this year. I'm always told how good Sarong is, how good Brayshaw is, how good this guy is, how good that guy is. We just have to see it this year. I just think there's no more excuses on Freo's list. Like, Luke Jackson, I'm pretty sure Luke Jackson's 24. Sarong's like 25, 26. Brayshaw's like 26, 27. Sean Darcy, like, I don't think they've got any guys over, like, in their 30s just hanging on, and they haven't got that many guys in Murphy Reed's the only teenager that plays for him. They're all in their 20s. We know their whole team. We've known them forever. They are primed. I think they have to be there, and that gets me to coach captain. Saying that off my hot take, Das, if there is no prelim or a final win at the least, this will be the last year of Justin Longmuir. And it just has to be, doesn't it? It just has to be. I think he's a bottom 8 coach. I think he has a Ferrari in his hands with this list. It needs to become finals wins this year at the bare minimum. It should be prelim or bust. Honestly, it should be prelim or bust. If him and Ross Lyon swapped roles this year, I think no one would have any expectation on the Saints, and I think everyone would tip Freo for the flag if Ross Lyon had that list. He's just a bit underwhelming, a bit boring. The whole, like, just that boring sort of not attacking flair football. The whole season should look like that Dogs game they had to win to get into the finals. They kicked 112 points that day, Das. 112 points. They only kicked 79 in their finals loss against the Suns. When I critique North Melbourne on their defense and their points against, I don't have a problem with Freo at all. They can clearly defend, but they kicked 100 points 6 times last year. So they kicked over 100 points 6 times last year. To put that into perspective, Brisbane did it 10 times last year. Geelong did it 16 times last year. And the Crows, who finished on top of the ladder, did it 13 times. You got to be kicking 100 points in half your games, basically.
Yep.
Every second game, you need to be kicking 100 points. It's what we've always judged Freo on. So to go from good to great, you need to be consistently kicking over 100 points every week. And I think there's at least 8 coaches out there that could get this Freo side to kick 100 points a week. Sam Mitchell, Chris Scott, John Longmire, Chris Fagan, Craig McRae, Dimmer, Kingsley, Bevo, and Ross Lyon. There's 9 coaches I just named that I think would coach this team better than Justin Longmuir does. So, yeah, it's got to become... I think Longmuir starts the season on a warmish seat, but I'd love to hear from Freo supporters. Do they have high expectations? Like, think of Geelong supporters. They expect a prelim every year. I know they're spoiled, but they've got high expectations because they're a good side. Do Freo have the balls to go... If it's not supporters, if it's not prelim this year, it's a bust and I want him out because this list is stacked. Do they expect top 4, a prelim appearance, top 6 at a minimum? I think they should. I'd love to hear from Freo supporters. Like, are they going to hold him accountable this year? And then their captain, Das, Alex Pearce. I actually think if you ask some forwards, they'd say he's the hardest to kick a goal on. He kept Ben King goalless in the final and he kept Sam Darcy goalless the week before. Like, that's a good finish to your year. Yep. He probably doesn't have the intercept game of, like, Harris Andrews or the offensive game of, like, Darcy Moore when he's flying. But when it comes to just playing on a man and beating a man and locking them down or locking down the best key forward in the game, I think he's top 3 at that. Like, I'd hate to play on him. He wears blokes like a glove. So I can see why he's the captain because he'll do his role for the team. He obviously leads from the back. And, yeah, but... It's just a little underwhelming, the coach captain at Freo.
Yeah, like, I think and you watch the American sports do it a lot. They're like, people don't get younger. There's a lot of player movement now. They're like, if this game plan isn't working, we're going to get a fresh voice in.
Yep.
Let's touch back on, again, not being able to score. There was the game, again, where we thought Brendan Cox was going to get 1 million scored on him from memory. They went to the Giants, and we were watching them like, where has this Fremantle been?
Yep.
They're running, they're scoring. Like
forward handballing.
They absolutely blew them out of the park, the Giants. Like it was just an out-of-the-box game, and we're like, where has this been? Have they been trying to just hold everything on tape, and they're like, all right, let's pull the emergency cord now. Let's go for it. Alex Pearce as well, I believe, again, I could be completely wrong, but there was that game where I think he kicked the match winner against Port Adelaide in one of those last clutch games of the year over there.
That's right.
I believe so. Yeah, they went forward and he ended up kicking the goal. He's done that twice or 3 times in his career now. I think the other one was to draw against Collingwood. But they need to be winning those games at home to get themselves a top 4 chance. As you said, they had a really good back end of the year and they got some really good wins. But then you also mentioned at the start of the episode, Jev, they did drop some really bad ones as well. Yeah. So, again, like a Geelong, like any of those other really good sides, the Swans are going to hope to do it. Brisbane are going to hope to do it. The Giants have been doing it. Got to get that top 4 spot. Got to get that top 4 spot. Got to have that second chance. And at least they made the finals last year, or else it would have been big noise. Yes, they had the loss. But again, it's like, all right, let's rally. I think they're going to improve this year. As you said before, Shai Bolton didn't have his best year. A lot of other guys can improve, but it's like, let's go now or else let's get a new voice. I love what you said with all the other coaches as well. Like, there's so many other offensive guys that, like, they've got good weapons. Like, you look at Treacy, like, he's only kicked the 44 goals, but you think of the delivery that's coming into him. They've got some unbelievable ball kickers. So
I know you remember it. The start of his season last year, he kicked like 1 opening round. Then he went 6-4, 6-5 or something. His next 4 rounds, like he can clearly play when he gets going. So yeah, they've got it all. Like, you know, it's not the perfect list, but when you say, have you got key forwards? Yes, I do. Have you got key defenders? Yes. Have you got a ruckman? Yes. Have you got midfielders? Yeah. Have you got some special tricks players in Shai Bolton, in Isaiah Dudley, in Murphy Reid? Yes. They've got it all. So there just can't be any excuses.
Yeah, no, I love it. And yeah, I think that if they're not progressing any more forward, you just got to have the GM or the owner or like whatever it is, just go, you're out. Let's get Horse in there.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, what a great job that would be to get.
I'm trying to think who's like an offensive footballer, an offensive coach. Maybe like, you know, Brendan Bolton and Justin Lepich have been at Collingwood just out of the spotlight under Craig McRae for ages. Wonder if they got their hands on their list after doing all this work under Craig McRae. Just guys like that.
Yeah. No, I definitely think it would be one of the hottest jobs. Like, so many people would want it. Even a Bevo, like if he wants to move, you know what I mean? He's been at the Dogs. Like, there's always talk. He signed 1 year or another 2 years? But that means fuck all. You never know. He might want to move out west. Let's have a look at their schedule, because this is what it all comes down to, essentially. Like, we look at some teams and we're like, it's a hard draw. Fuck, it's actually pretty good. So this will determine whether we think we're going to go over or under, but hit us.
So they started GMHBA Stadium against Geelong again. Bloody hard start, especially because you and me think Gold Coast will do the Cats opening round. Then the Cats are going to come home. I don't think the Cats are going 0-2 to start us. Yeah. They might, but I think they'll get Freo. Then it's Melbourne and Richmond at home.
Good.
Adelaide at Adelaide Oval. Collingwood at Adelaide Oval gather round. So it's a tough start. The Collingwood game feels like an early season must win. Yep. It'll be the difference between 2-3 or 3-2. Like, it's going to be a massive game, that game.
I like
then
it.
It's a derby or a derby.
Yep.
Blues at home, Dogs at Marvel, Hawks at home, Essendon at the G. Again, that 5 should set up their season. They could go 5-0, but they could easily go 3-2 again. And if they go 3-2, they're behind the 8 ball of some of the other sides we've gone through. Like, after 10, we think Gold Coast might be 9-1. If they're 6-4, they're behind. Saints at home, Brisbane at the Gabba. They got that North Melbourne game in Bunbury. the Cats at home, Gold Coast at home. So, like, tough teams all in Perth.
Yeah.
3 straight games in Perth, 4 in 5 weeks. So that needs to be a 4-1 stretch. Still tough opponents.
Yeah.
Like, you come back from the Gabba against the Lions, then you get the Cats at home and the Gold Coast Suns at home. You need to win somewhere there. GWS in Canberra, Swans at home, Port at Adelaide Oval, another derby against West Coast, and then Dogs at home. Again, a favourable stretch, but to qualify, Swans are their bogey side. Can they go on the road and beat GWS again? Are they an automatic 2-0 in derbies this year? Like, it might be hard to beat West Coast twice this year. Then to finish, they have D's at the MCG, Crows at home, and then the Baggers at Marvel last round of the year. Bit of travel to finish, but if they're good, they'll be fine. Last year, you and me absolutely loved their schedule. You said over 12.5 was a spoiler and not a prediction. We both like them top 4. We like the minor premierships. This year, I think their schedule is so much harder. I don't see any big 5-6 game win streaks in there, like anywhere. I'm guessing the line is like, I reckon it's going to be 14.5, but I was even thinking 13.5 when I look at that schedule. 2 more than last year, but that is a tough schedule, Das. I think it's every 5 games is hard. And they just need to keep stacking 3 and 2s. I don't find any 5-game win streaks in there. So, yeah, what do you think after I sort of read that schedule? And you might have to look at it yourself, but like, it's tough.
It does seem tough. Like, initially when we've read schedules off, like, you get a pretty good feel. But then sometimes, or most of the time we do it, I'm like, oh, this is tough. And then you see him just run through sides and you're like, how did we think that was tough?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I still think that the way that we was being so positive about them last year, I still think they're going to be good this year.
Yeah.
How many games they win last year?
16.
They haven't gotten worse.
They haven't gotten worse.
I reckon they might put their line up at. It's got to be 14.5.
Yeah, so we'll get into the over-under and the best bet. It's 14.5 their line. So it was 12.5 last year and they won 16 games. So they smashed their over.
Yeah.
Now it's 14.5 with a way tougher schedule. It's a flat $1.90 each way, whatever you want to take. This is an impossible line to pick. Like this, their list makes me say over. Their schedule makes me want to say under. I think they're going to be bang on a 14, 15, or 16 win team. Like, very similar to last year.
Where do you reckon they finish on the ladder?
I think more like 6th, 7th, 8th than top 5. I think they'd, like, think about it this way. For them to finish top 4, I reckon in the last 3 weeks, they've got to go to the MCG and beat the Ds, which they lost last year. Won't be an easy win. They're going to go back home and beat the Crows, who will probably be fighting for a top 4 spot. We haven't had a look at the Crows yet. Then they're going to come back to Marvel Stadium and beat the Baggers at Marvel to probably finish top 4. It just feels like a 14, 15 win team to me, which is basically 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th. I think they're a top 10 side for sure. I don't think they're as good as the top 4 sides unless they just take the leap. It just clicks this year. They're all in their prime. It just clicks, but just looking at that schedule, it's what I feel. What way are you leaning?
It is so. This has been the toughest one.
Yeah.
This has been the tough. I get a feel like Geelong 15. I'm like under. Gold Coast over. Hawthorn, I think over. Like initially, Swans. Was Swans 14?
Yeah, I think 13.5 the Swans.
Yeah. Oh, so I'm like, that feels like an over. This is. We're going to have to wait to see where we feel Adelaide, Brisbane are.
Yeah.
Because if so, I've already got 4 teams that I'm comfortable over, so they might be a 5th or 6th side.
See, we haven't even looked at the Crows yet, but I'd prefer this list than Adelaide's list. But I think Adelaide will probably win more games than them this year.
For sure. Like, they could, mate. If we had this the other year, and you look at Port Adelaide, and they just keep wheeling out 14, 15, 16 win seasons, they just play really good at home. Adelaide, see, this is the thing. As you said, Freo just with the scoring. That's what we need to see click. Adelaide can put 130 points on the board.
They dropped 170 on the Swans last year. I remember they beat us by 90 points. Like, Freo don't do that.
170, was it?
Yeah, I think it was like 164. I looked at it before. They beat us by 90 points.
That's something that's like, if you can score, that's different. You might have a bad defensive day, but the fact that Freo didn't have the trigger to pull. So
I want to see Freo score some 138s this year, some 142s. Like, when they're kicking goals, just bury some teams.
Well, let's go on the fact that they had to go to work on the scoring.
So that gets me to my best bet.
Go.
Tracy, Amiss, and Voss to combine for 115 goals. Basically, just under 40 goals each, just over 35 goals each. Or is that too much?
I just go back to what did the Adelaide boys do?
Oh, heaps.
Did they get over 120?
I think so. They kicked... well, I know Fogarty and Thilthorpe kicked over 80 between them. I think Tex kicked 30, didn't he? I don't know.
115 is a good line.
It is. Well, as we said, Tracy kicked 44 last year. Wasn't even 2 a game. That has to be 50 this year.
Yeah.
Amiss just needs to kick 30 then.
Stop missing, yeah.
And 30 to 35. And then Paddy Voss.
All right, let's go.
I reckon that has... Tracy, Amiss and Voss kick 115 goals.
Okay.
Just under 40 each, over 35 each.
Yep.
I think that's fair.
Yeah, good. We'll
Then
take
I was
it.
thinking, Luke Jackson All-Australian, or is it just Sarong and Brayshaw? Sarong makes it every year. Do you take a risk and go, nah, Luke Jackson's going to be a beast this year? Or have we already taken a risk with the goal kickers?
Well, I don't mind Luke Jackson just because there's no sub this year.
Yeah.
So if it's just 5 on the bench, you might see a few other teams playing that hybrid role. So this could be the perfect... Remember how it's like the other years, like Gawn and Grundy were only picking 1. But Luke Jackson, he's like that perfect 5th player. So I don't mind Luke Jackson.
Yeah. Picked on the bench next to Max. Like, Max going to the start and Ruckman. Picked on the bench as like the backup Ruckman if they needed, if they had to play a game. But he just had an awesome year. Yeah, let's go Luke Jackson All-Australian. Okay. I'm sure the Freo supporters will be all on board that.
And then over?
And then they're over 14 and a half.
Okay, I like it.
That's what we'll do. Oh, I love it.
I like it. All right.
Right.
Pretty positive on the Dockers. Again, they've still got a good team. And their glue player was Hayden Young.
Yeah.
And we didn't even see him. So him, Shy Bolden gets better. Murphy Reid has another year. Tracy gets a few more kicks. Yeah, more positive. Yeah, I think leaning over. I think just.
I have not. It's so far the hardest one. It's the one I don't have like just a feel on.
Yeah,
as I said,
you're gonna have to see it.
Hey,
you're just gonna have to see it.
Yeah, their list makes me say over. Their schedule makes me say under.
Yeah, it's a tough schedule.
It's so tough.
Tough schedule.
I just think it has to be over. It just has to click this year.
Yeah.
It's just like they're all in their prime. You got to back them. You got to back Justin Longmuir like they've kept him around. If they don't go over, he will be fired.
Yeah.
They can't go backwards. They went 16 last year, finished equal 4th, but they end up finished 6th.
Yeah.
It has to be 16, 17 wins this year and get into that 4. So, it just feels like it has to be over.
Yeah. Like it feels like it has to be.
But some people might just go, nah, fuck them. That schedule's too hard. They're not that good. I think Swans are going to go past them. Dogs are going to go past them. This and that. Under. And it's like, yeah, fair enough. It's Freo. They don't do anything.
No, I think I'll lean over. I think I will go in from last year. Alrighty, that was the Dockers. We will see you in the next one.
Peace.
What are you prepared to lose today? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.